Hey guys, it's Lisa with Salesvision. Salesvision 100 Video Challenge, video number 99, and we are discussing Mark Hoverson's life transforming program, SolomonCEO, which is success principles, principles and secrets for quantum success and quantum productivity, based on the proverbs and the principles of King Solomon, the richest king who ever lived. My cat keeps meowing, I apologize. You be a good girl while mommy's doing a video, okay? Okay, now secret number 7, which is what we were up to today, is transforming versus pretending. That's what secret number 7 is, transforming versus pretending. Now the proverb that goes with this is it's better to be looked down upon because you are not high society but have a servant than to pretend to be rich but lack bread. I'll say that again. That's kind of a confusing one. It's better to be looked down upon because you are not high society but have a servant than pretend to be rich but lack bread. Now what that's basically saying is that rather than pretending to be rich, and hanging out with high society people, buying designer clothes, going to the A-list parties, the people like that post on Facebook and they post, all the great things they got their kids for Christmas, the $300 sneakers and all the best toys, and, they got their wife or husband, this A-list car. These people are pretending to be rich, but they lack bread, meaning that at the end of the day, they're only pretending to be rich. They really don't have money, and what they do have, or what influence they have, they're using to give the appearance of being a bigwig, of being one of the high rollers. And in the end, they're probably feeding their kids broke people food, and buying at the cheap discount stores, and skimping on the meals, like giving their kids like sugared cereals and things that aren't good for you and things like that. But they want to maintain the image of being a high roller. And in fact, there's a lot of those wannabe gurus that you see, they call them entrepreneurs, and they rent a Lamborghini. They rent out a Lamborghini for the day so that they can post themselves, in front of the Lamborghini saying, enjoy my business, I'm living the high life, I'm, or I'm at a beach, look behind me, I'm in Cozumel, or, what's another island, Turks and Caicao, I don't know, you can tell I haven't been around too many of them. But, those are people who are posers, more or less. And then they say it's better to be looked down upon because you are not high society. So perhaps you grew up in poverty maybe, and you don't have much money. And of course, some people may look down on you, and people who have more than you, and, like, it's better to be looked down upon for what you don't have than to pretend and be liked for a facade. You've probably heard that before. And when you're being looked down upon because you're not high society but you have a servant, that means that you're on your way up. You're upwardly mobile. You are making strides. And maybe nobody knows you have a servant, but that doesn't really matter. You know that you are on your way up. And when they say servant, you don't have to take it literally. It could mean you have employees, or you have affiliates under you, or you have a servant, you have something that you're leveraging that's helping you to move upward in society, to get more money, to rank higher. You are on the move. Like a lot of people when they start out, entrepreneurs, and they don't have a lot, but they're doing all the right things, and they are moving up slowly, and they're not pretending to have what they don't have. They're maybe wearing their, trying to think of a sneaker like that isn't that great. I don't know. Well, wearing their regular sneakers and their non-designer clothes and stuff, and doing the best that they can. They're doing their videos, and they have their iPhone, and they're filming on their iPhone, and maybe have like one of those cheapy little microphones that attaches to it. They don't have a big nice setup and everything, but you know what, who cares if anybody looks down on them, because they're being wise with their money, and they're doing what they need to do to become better, to better themselves every day. Okay, let me see, what am I leaving out here? Okay, I talked about, so a servant could be, whatever you're getting leverage from through affiliates or employees that you're leveraging to up your status. And when we talk about high society, we mean people with influence, people who are decision makers, because decisions come from the top down. Long-term sustainable high society, meaning it's wealth for the long term. You're building wealth. You're not just, you didn't just come into a lot of money or win a lot of money and, you're going to be broke in another 6 months. You're building assets. You have higher levels of thought. You're in a higher level culture, or you're aiming towards getting those things. Okay, so that's the difference between transforming versus pretending. You don't, it's not honorable to pretend, but it's definitely honorable to be transforming your life. Whether or not people look down on you for where you currently are, just wait. You're going to get there, and haters, be wary. They're going to be asking for help and for you to hire them one day. Okay, so for the action guide for this, to get a better understanding of it, because some people had difficulties with this, I guess Mark Hoverson was saying, what he said to do, I'm just checking something out. Okay, okay, number one, to shed your minimum wage activities and only do your highest paid activities. So whatever brings you the highest income, whatever your main task that is your superpower that's going to bring you the most income, to do those, and to think of what minimum wage activities you do, things that you do that might be busy work that takes up a lot of time, that you could delegate, or things in your life, ask your kids to do. Okay, he talks about 2 different areas where you can shed those type of activities. One is with the home life, things like grunt work, chores. Start training your kids early on to do chores, he talked about. And also he talked about his wife, and how and this could go both ways. I don't want to be sexist. A honey-do list, which basically is everything that the wife wants the husband to do. Clean the garage, do this, do that, fix the sink, different things. Or it could be a husband making that list for the wife. But whatever it is, like, he didn't want his wife to do, as he said, the Cinderella tasks, because she had higher wage and higher value activities she could be doing, like writing a book. He said she was writing a book on their marriage, and if she was doing all the minimal activities and the grunt work, she would have no energy left over to do the other more meaningful and higher wage work, as well as spend quality time with each other. He said the honey to-do list, to give it to a handyman. After they make the list of everything that they want their husband, or vice versa, to do, after that honey-do list is done, to give it to a handyman. So that eliminates nagging and guilt tripping the man, is what he said. It could go the other way around. To me, that's a little bit sexist, but women do it. They nag and guilt trip a man, and a man does it to a woman too. And that is something that's negative for the relationship, and it's not necessary. So those are minimum wage, what we call minimum wage activities that don't need to be done by you when you have kids, or can hire a handyman, a teenager in the neighborhood to mow your lawn, maybe, things like that. Okay, he said after that to think about like what you can do in the free time that you free up, where you were doing the busy work and minimum wage activities. What can you do? You can leverage that time with other things, like you have the potential to transform society, to do charity, to as you increase in income, you can use that time to help others, and to think of how you can leverage it creatively. You're not doing busy work. How can you fill that time wisely? Spend quality time with your wife, write a book, donate your time somewhere. So lastly, in business, you want to think about what's the one thing. Now, we're not talking about home now, we're talking about in business. What's the one thing only you can do? Your main, like say you're a consultant, and consulting is your main activity. All the other things, like doing your taxes, stuffing envelopes, typing in your social media, those things can be delegated to somebody else. So you want to shed all those other activities, all those administrative activities and minimum wage activities, and you want to be comfortable delegating those activities to others, getting other people to do it, and thinking of it in a positive way. You're not, it's not like you're having slaves do it. You're empowering people to do it. You're giving them the responsibility and empowering them, even though they may not do it as well as you. You're giving the reins, turning the reins over to them and empowering them to do it, and that what they do with it is good enough. It doesn't have to be the best. It doesn't have to be what you would have done because you have more experience than them. So he said, list 7 things, Mark said, that others can do. And some examples would be email, administrative work, typing, filing, doing runs, deliveries of stuff. So to delegate, let them do it alone. He was saying that he would tell them, pretend that I'm dead. Don't call me while I'm out doing this work. That he was making this training at the time, and he would tell them to handle his email and to do what they could and do their best job. And if you have a problem with doing that and delegating like that, and feel like you need to be the one to do everything, that's kind of a control issue, and you want to look into that. That's not a good way to be. You've heard of micromanagers, people who are perfectionists. Like, I always had that mentality, and I grew up with my mother always had that mentality where, she wanted to do everything herself, but she would feel overworked, and it became that martyr syndrome. I do everything, but she didn't want other people to help her because they didn't do it as good as her. And that micromanagement type of mentality is a control issue, and it's not helping you. You want to learn to be more self-possessed, is how Mark put it. To be responsible for what you do, but not have to do everything, be able to delegate other responsibilities, and not try to possess things and others, but be self-possessed. and he suggested a book called Atlas Shrugged to read if you wanted to learn more about that. And we're going to end it there today. There I go, 15 minutes again. I cannot do it for less than 15 minutes, and I'm only doing one secret a day. I am so sorry I'm taking up too much of your time. I gotta make these shorter. I hope you did get value from it though. Please give me a thumbs up if you got any value from this, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and smash the bell that will notify you every time I release a new video. And join me tomorrow for video 100. Yay! Thank you guys. I love you. Namaste.